Hi there, and welcome to the Multiply You podcast, where we showcase top experts in their space and reveal all the secrets you need to know to multiply you.
Hey everybody, Austin Clark here, host of the Multiply You podcast. Really glad to be with you today. Glad to have a really great guest on as well, Aaron Veal. Been in the pest control industry forever. He's been there, done that, seen all of it. Not a lot surprises this guy anymore. And I think the nuts and bolts of what we'll get into with Aaron is something that everyone ought to be either doing already or seriously thinking about as it comes to not just employee, but more specifically customer communication and how you can keep that consistent, save time, and have it be a regular experience every single time for them. But before we do, this podcast is brought to you by my company, Moxie Pest Control. We've been very fortunate to grow. We're continuing to grow each and every day, each and every week. And part of the way that we've been doing that has been via acquisition. And so if you are an operator in any place that we are, which is 35 plus markets across the country, and you're looking to know what it looks like to not be in the industry, or you're looking to divest or golf more, or not deal with some of the stuff as a business owner that you have the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years, I love to talk with you. Multiples, they are at an all-time high. You can reach out to me directly either on my cell, which is 480-254-9730, or you can email me directly at aclark@moxiepestcontrol.com. Aaron Veal, like I said, he has been in the industry for about 20 plus years. After a long time of being disillusioned, these are his words, not mine, and working for somebody, he decided to set out on his own and work for himself and be a little bit disillusioned as a business owner. Just as we were getting to know each other, he said, it's the best decision and the worst decision I've ever made. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. But Aaron, welcome to the show. Thank you for carving out some time to visit with me and my audience.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. So tell us a little bit, before we kind of get into some of the customer interaction and exchange, tell us a little bit about your path. What were you doing before this? You were obviously working for another company, maybe a larger company or a national company. It's usually how it works, but tell us a little bit about some of your path.
Well, after the Marine Corps, I kind of worked a bunch of stupid jobs, and then a friend of mine was working for a company, pest control company, and told me what he was making, and it was double what I was making at the time. So at the beginning, I thought, well, that's more money. I can feed my family, whatever. It turned out I really liked it. Just really, really liked it. So I only worked for 2.5 companies before I started mine. So I was with 2 of them for a very long time. A third one, we won't mention them.
And is that the half? Is that where the 2.5 comes in?
Yeah, that was not a good.
Gotcha. All right.
Not everybody cares about quality or not screwing people over. So at that point, I was in trouble. Needed a job. It's dead of winter, and I thought, well, nobody hires pest control in the dead of winter. Couldn't find anything, and so I just started my own. It was a rough road. I think most business owners, unless they got $1 million set back, they have stories of almost losing the house and eating ramen for months on end and all that kind of stuff, just to make this dream come true, to be the boss, which isn't all it's cracked up to be always.
Yeah, I can hear that. And that was certainly my experience. It wasn't with $1 million in the bank account. It was skimping by for a little bit, making a lot of sacrifices, lots of early mornings, late nights, and weekends, and everything in between.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The old meme of the old guy that says, working at my as an entrepreneur, I'm 20 years old, and he's an old guy. That's definitely the truth. So
yeah. So that's been some of the path then. How long have you been running Phoenix Pest Control for?
We're pushing on year 7.
Okay.
we kind of started with a partner, and anybody who's listening and considering such a path, consider it very carefully. You hear so many horror stories about partnerships and best friends, and then when it's over, it's a big fat mess. Mine was a big fat mess, and I had to end up going the legal route to end it and all that kind of stuff. So that set us behind several years, and I've been slowly digging out of that mess ever since. But for a long time, I had the attitude, well, I can do it myself, and the ROI is amazing when you're a solo guy, nobody to manage, but my health is not the best. So I needed somebody to get dirty instead of me for a while. So now we're moving in that direction.
Well, they say, or it's been said that a partnership is the only ship that doesn't float. And I would echo that advice, and that you wanna choose that or go that path real carefully. So been at it about 7 years ago. You said, Aaron, earlier that you being the guy, the boss, the entrepreneur, it's not all it's cracked up to be. What about it is it cracked up to be? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it?
Well, I told you I used to work for idiots. Now I work for this idiot.
Yeah.
So I got to see some of those idiot choices that they've made maybe weren't so idiotic in the grand scheme of things. Some were, but I get to do things the way I think they need to be done. And where a lot of businesses focuses on the numbers and all that, it's important. I mean, I'm not doing this for fun. We got to feed the family, but focusing more on customer service, and that hurts the ROI sometimes, but that's okay. Focusing on the education more, I get to kind of do something I love, which is I used to own a recording studio before Pest Control.
Cool.
And do some, recording bands and doing video projects and stuff like that. So I still get to do some of that in Pest Control for educational videos to send to the customers.
Well, and so I was going to say that is a nice segue into kind of the bulk of what we'll talk about, because I had, not to give it all away, but I think the thing that you're doing, and there's many of them, but one of the things that you're doing is unique and special, and that everyone ought to consider, is you are making these informational videos, storing them perhaps in YouTube or a Teachable or type platform like that, and then passing them out to your customers, or as questions come up, you can send that to them. So it sounds like some of your experience in video editing, that kind of thing, came from this or from that point or a phase in your life. Is that right?
Yeah, it helps with what I'm doing now. I don't have the studio anymore, so I still get to play in that realm a little bit. But like I told you earlier, consider that you have to have a conversation with a customer that has roaches and their house is filthy, or they leave the dog food out, or all these things. A lot of people don't take that too kindly, and most people are not tactful with their delivery of it, and that includes me. So you carefully tell customers what they need to know. If they take it, great. If they don't, so be it. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? But what I've found is when you put it in a video form and you put it up on the internet and you just send them a link. So Miss Jones will ask me a bug question and I'll answer it. And I'll say, hey, I'm going to text you a link to some more information. Some people watch it, some people don't. But the magical thing happens is when the people who are open to hear what the professional has to say, that's kind of why they're not doing it themselves. They hired a professional because we're supposed to know what we're talking about, right? So some people take that to heart and are actually going to listen to what we have to say. So they take that information a little better. And I try to make it, I'm no comedian, but I try to make it at least entertaining. And some people, I know a lot of people that aren't customers, probably never will be, just love the videos. Another thing that does, though, is that gives me content to piggyback on blogs and to use on social media. So a lot of people are in these local neighborhood groups on like Facebook or whatever, right? And Miss Smith will come on and say, I've got ants, what can I do? And every Tom, Dick, and Harry comes on there and tells them all kinds of stupidity like cotton balls and,
or whatever. Yep.
Yeah, just throw a bomb in there. Well, I learned pretty early on that going in there and giving them truth, they don't like that. However, if you go in there and you don't say a word and you just drop a link to the video that gives them all the correct facts, the mint and cotton ball people will continue to be mint and cotton ball people, and the people with brains will watch the video and often give me a call and like, nobody's ever told me this stuff before, because most of the time, technicians don't have time. Like I said, they don't have time to have these conversations with customers, but it's important. Look, the bugs are always going to be there no matter what. And I can come and I can kill them, I can make you happy, but there will be more. So why are they there? The bug is never the problem. The bug is an indication of another problem. So my goal is to help educate those customers as to what that other part of the problem is. And I got one lady who has her house is trash. She's got roaches, or had roaches. We got rid of them. She won't clean, but I've sent her the videos. I've sent her the information. And every time we go, she says, I know I need to do this. Why I have problems. They know, but now it's not, the bug man isn't doing his job because you got roaches. The bug man is doing everything he can, even faced with what you're giving him. The one other aspect a lot of people don't think of, who owns YouTube?
Google.
So doesn't Google kind of like its own stuff?
They love their own stuff.
So when you put a bunch of stuff on YouTube and a bunch of people are watching it because they're customers, because you're sending them there, and then it's got other people watching it too, you get, and I know the SEO people are going to cringe when I say this, but you get Google juice. And it works. So that's another aspect to it as well. So
what, Aaron, inspired you to start creating these videos? I mean, did it stem, was it like a good idea that you had, or were you trying to solve a problem that, or were you tired of people asking you the same thing all the time? And you're like, man, I've answered this question 5,000 times. You know what I mean? And so what inspired you or pushed you to kind of do the video piece?
So I started my journey with a larger regional company. And when I would take the time to tell the customers the information that they needed, I got in trouble. And that annoyed me, because in my mind, that was part of pest control, right? Not exterminators, or pest control. So not only that, but you hit another nail on the head, the answering a question a million times. Plus, honestly, when you first start out and you've got 2 customers, and it'll be you've done them for this month, and it's going to be another month before you have them, and you've got no prospects in front of you, you have to do something. You have to feel like you're doing something with the business, and that's really how it started. And it kind of grew from there, and it kind of, the place where it is now, the purpose and how I use it kind of grew out of that realization that I've got something here I can actually, do more with. So
what would you say, what's the most positive thing that's come from you recording these videos? Is it that you got some of your time back? Has it been new customers? Has it been having a good time online in the comments with some of the folks that they get in there? I mean, what's the best thing that's happened because of it?
Well, it's definitely not having a fun time in the comments, because the internet is full of just generous, warm, loving people, especially if they disagree with you.
Cotton ball and mint people, right? Like you said.
Sure, absolutely. Penny in a bag of water over the door,
There you go.
lovely. So no, but the best thing has been new customers. Like I'll have somebody call me and they'll say, I've watched all your videos on bed bugs. I'm ready to go. Let's do this. And I fashioned the videos specifically for education, of course, but then to onboard the new customers. So when a new green customer calls me and they're interested, I've got a video specifically for that answers all the questions they don't know they have yet. I know the questions they're going to ask already, because I've been asked them a million times. So I just put it in the video. It's all right up there, answers all those questions and deals with all the hard facts that right up front before I even get to do the inspection and the quote. So it's already a warm lead before I even get there. The other thing is, and I don't really like this, but I guess it's a good thing for the business. I get out in town, and I don't go to Walmart anymore for this reason. They'll go, "Hey, you're the what bugs me guy." I'm like, yeah. Like just random strangers. I'm like, yeah, I don't like that at all. So
a little bit of celebrity. You know what it's like to be Joe Rogan or someone like that.
Nowhere near that. That's part of the reason why I do in the videos. I wear sunglasses. There's two reasons I wear sunglasses in the videos. One is try to save a little bit of anonymity, maybe a little bit. But the other one is because I'm reading the script. And it looks pretty stupid if you're going, you're reading the information doing this number. So, I mean, it's kind of a dual use, but it's been good. And I've tried to coach other companies as they start to do similar things. And some people just, it's not their thing. And that's, but what I really, the other thing the reason I'm doing this is because I worked at another company. They hired an SEO marketing company to do their website and their blog and all that kind of stuff. They were atrociously terrible. They were entomologically incorrect. They were misleading, and it was just because they're not in the industry. I don't know what the heck they're talking about. They're just Googling stuff and then copy pasting and doing that. Absolutely horrid. They were written for SEO. They were written for search engines. They weren't written for the customer. Customer read that and get negative information.
Sure.
Nothing that would help anything except, hey, buy my stuff. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants you coming to their door, cold calling them, cold knocking them, where everybody is so advertised to constantly. And it's always, look, we have the best. And well, it's better than last year, but last year was the best. It's all bull. Advertising is just bull. So I never do buy my stuff videos. It's always, here's the information. Here's what you can do. Here's what I can do. I love debunking old wives' tales. And you want to talk about the trolls coming out of the woodwork that don't like it when you do that. Boy, they really don't like that. But that's what I like. All these things that everybody thinks they know about pest control, and debunking it. So hopefully my town is more pest control educated than most.
No, I love that, Aaron. And I think what you're doing as it relates to what you've shared in the videos is remarkable. And it's not even revolutionary. I mean, we've had video and cell phones for a decade or so now, and what a unique value proposition that you've provided to your customers or those that aren't customers to be able to engage with you, interact with you. I also love that you're not, as you said, kind of hard selling them in the sense that hey, this is purely informational. Take it, leave it, sign up, don't, whatever you want to do it on your own. This will help whether you hire me or not. This is valuable and helpful and all of that sort of thing. As we kind of start to round this out in the next minute or two or three, I definitely want to give you the final word. What would you say? I mean, if there's someone or a firm or a company out there that hears this or wants to kind of start doing some of this, what advice would you have for them, or where would you have them start, or what pitfalls might they avoid that they don't know they'll run into that they will because you've been there, done that?
Eating, paying the bills. It's like I said, it's the best and worst thing I ever done, going out on my own. I don't think I could work for anybody going forward, so I'm in it for the long haul. I got to figure it out one way or the other. And that's the big thing with if everybody wants to be the big dog on the porch, but nobody wants to do all the hard stuff to get there, and nobody sees that as much. So one of the biggest things is, and it's a lot of the sales, it's all about sales at the beginning. Because you have nothing, right? So you have to build a reputation. You have to make sales so you can do services so you can eat. 90% of the sales gurus out there and the sales books are complete trash. It's a bunch of touchy-feely gobbledygook that gets you nowhere. The reality is you just got to get up, you got to figure it out for yourself, for your market, and you got to go out and do it. And you got to fail, and you got to get up, and you got to fail, and you got to get up, and you got to fail, and you got to get up. And the big dog didn't start as the big dog. It was a smaller dog, and then a medium-sized dog, and then it did the work that you're describing and kind of became that over a long period of time. Exactly. One thing that always stuck with me right after we opened, I was doing a night job, cleaning offices. Well, I spent my time while I was cleaning those offices listening to Pest Control podcasts. And he's become a friend of mine now, but the Pest Geek podcast, Franklin Hernandez, great resource. But he said one thing that just always stuck with me. He said, just shut up and fix it. If something's wrong, shut up and fix it. If customers having an issue with something and that it really is going to require some more money down the road or something like that, okay, fine. Fix it first. Then you can have the money discussion. The customer calls and wants a treatment done, and it's really just dumb or it's unnecessary just because they don't understand the process. Most people on the phone will say, well, here's the process and your request is stupid. Well, but that gets you nowhere. Just bite the bullet, go out there, do what you got to do, then explain it. Now, what happens there is it doesn't sound like an excuse anymore. It wasn't an excuse to begin with, but it sure as heck sounded like one when you started off by, oh, well, we can't do this, or we can't, or this is going to require this or that, whatever. Just fix it. Then you can have that conversation. Then they trust you because they know you're not filling them full of junk and you're going to be there. The other thing is people are terrified of callbacks. Callback is the one job that makes you the most money ever, period. Because anybody can sell a bunch of pest control and go kill some bugs. But the ones who make sure that customer is taken care of when that callback comes, they're watching that. That customer's watching your reaction to that. And that good or bad experience could mean whether you have them for another service or another 20 years. So, oh yeah, you can learn a lot from a company or a service person that gets to the free job. How long does it take? What's the attitude about it? Is it
do they have to push you to do it, sort of thing. And so I couldn't agree more with that. Aaron, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being on. I think that is a pretty good note to end on. Shut up and fix it. Worry about the rest later. Get your customers to love you, make them loyal, and they'll come back time and time and time again. So really appreciate you being on and really appreciate your time.
Not a problem. Hey, I got to ask you, what bugs you?
There we go. There's a lot of things that bug me. You want an answer to that?
How much time you got?
Yeah, exactly. Aaron, if people want to continue the conversation with you, what's the best way for them to do that? Where do they find you? Where should we point them towards?
Probably our Facebook page. That's probably the easiest. It's just Phoenix Pest Control TN for Tennessee.
Very good. Well, continue the conversation there, everybody. Aaron, thank you again so much for being on. All of you that are listening and patching in, appreciate you patching in. I know that your time is very valuable too. And until the next time, create a great day.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Multiply You podcast. You'll see us again soon when you subscribe for future episodes.